This is your neighborhood-friendly rancher speaking. Remember the days when graphics were simple and all you needed were a handful of buttons on a controller? Games were 16 bits of whimsy. And then there was Mortal Kombat, a game so brutal that it shook the entire industry at the time. So what do you do with a great game that was essentially the first M-rated title in all of existence? You make a movie out of it.
Exactly.
Now, I have to admit first and foremost that I'm completely biased towards this movie. I consider it the first movie that ever really got me interested in Asian culture as a whole. And yes, while I realize it's got about as much Asian culture as Miley Cyrus, you have to keep in mind that I did grow up in a small Georgia town, so I was lucky to get culture of any kind, really. I fell in love with this movie as a kid, so every time I watch it, my glasses of nostalgia will always be on. But does that make it a good movie? Not really. Now, since this is sort of a prequel episode, I probably should go into a plot point by plot point synopsis, but I feel that's kind of pointless when I can have it summed up in the following clip.
A handful of people on a leaky boat are gonna save the world.
Instead, let's just look at a few of the things that make this movie a rose-colored kick to the happy sack. Now, one of the things that can be quite off-putting about this movie is the CG and the art direction. Now, for the CG, I can't be too tough on it because, well, it hasn't aged well, but the technology wasn't there yet. PlayStation 1 was just getting around to making truly good-looking 3D graphics, so I can't really complain about that too much. But the art direction, well, it leaves a little to be desired. Now, far be it from me to question the great Paul W.S. Anderson, who's made such video game adaptations as Resident Evil and DOA. But let's just look at one of his marvelous directing choices, the Scorpion character model. Now, I could make a crass sex joke about his special ability looking like a bird coming out of someone's hand vagina, but I prefer to be a little bit more subtle and let the scene speak for itself.
My darling, I can't get enough of your love, babe.
But the art isn't the worst aspect by far. This movie has your typical menagerie of action movie cliché characters. We have our traitless hero, Liu Kang, our comedic throwaway character, Johnny Cage, our strong and proud female character with a false sense of depth, Sonya, but there's only one character that really just annoys me, and that is Raiden. Now, is it me, or is Raiden just in this movie to be the biggest dickbag? I mean, the tournament never really specifies that he can't fight, so why doesn't he live up to his name as protector of the people and, I don't know, actually protect them? Why do these people even worship this guy? Seriously, apparently Shang Tsung has won 9 tournaments total so far, and now Raiden's just stepping in to do something about it? Not only that, but he picks characters that he knows can't do it, or that he at least believes can't do it. Not only that, but then he blatantly interferes in the match between Sub-Zero and Liu Kang just so that Princess Kitana's shameless foreshadowing can come true. So he can cheat to help him win a match, but he can't shove a lightning bolt up Shang Tsung's ass and send him limping back to Outworld? Some kind of protector. And it's not even like his advice is even that helpful. For instance, let's see what our residential expert has to say about fighting a nearly impossible foe when Johnny Cage has to face Goro in what could possibly be the last match of his life.
You must first face your fears, if you are to conquer them.
Oh yeah. Great advice. I'm sure facing your fears helped the token black guy from getting Hulk smashed to death. Oh, and apparently what Raiden means by facing your fears is that you should punch someone in the cock and run and hide like a little girl. Oh great, now Shang Tsung has gained the power to transport people into a Sega CD game. Has anyone else noticed that the fight scenes in this movie really aren't that climactic or interesting? I mean, the fight choreography is decent, but I can't help but feel as though this movie would have been far better if it had had some more talented martial artists like Donnie Yen or Jet Li, who were more than famous at the time. I mean, look at this! You know, anytime you guys want to go ahead and fight or, do something in this scene, go ahead. We told you you could fight, so go ahead. You can stop punching at the air sometime, anytime you're ready. Ah yes, excellent display of skills, Sub-Zero. Fighting someone who won't even fight you back. Now, it doesn't surprise me that Liu Kang beat you with a bucket of water. I mean, think about it. Think about how some of our main villains are killed off. Sub-Zero, a guy who, in the game, rips people's spines out as a finishing move, defeated by a bucket of water. Goro, the Grand Champion, defeated by a Looney Tunes style bait and switch routine. Meep meep. How did Shang Tsung win 9 tournaments with this team? But the ultimate problem, the one that quite frankly almost ruined this movie for me when I watched it again, comes near the end, in which Sonya gets kidnapped and Shang Tsung challenges her to the final fight.
There's one last rule. He neglected to mention it.
She has to accept the challenge, or there can be no final combat.
So, let me get this straight. One of the most powerful sorcerers in the world, who has won 9, count them, 9 Mortal Kombat tournaments, can be thwarted by someone denying his challenge.
I have nothing further to teach you, Liu Kang.
You didn't teach us anything! Hold on 1 second. Hello? I challenge you to Mortal Kombat, and when it is finished, your soul will be mine. No. What? Yeah, well, according to the rules of Mortal Kombat, if I don't accept your challenge, well, I don't have to fight you. You can't beat me and steal my soul. Therefore, you can't rule the world. Well, this is kind of awkward. Yeah. Well, I gotta kind of get back to this review, so, oh yeah, sure. Yeah, but, if you ever... Now, even with all of its problems as far as the art, the characters, and the plot holes, there's only one true scene that sticks out in my mind more than any other.
What is it?
Well, Liu Kang, that's Dr. Claw, ending our movie with obvious sequel bait.
Weak, pathetic fools, I've come for your souls.
I don't think so.
You see this scene? This scene was permanently burned into my brain as a child. Every time I watch this movie, it haunts me. It's there, staring at me with its cold, dead eye. Now, if I can get serious for a second, the reason this stands out to me is because I loved this movie so much as a kid that every time I watched it, which was multiple times, I kept feeling like I was missing something. Like there was some kind of long-lost sequel out there, just waiting to be dug up. Years later, I heard rumors that the movie did exist, but all I had seen were clips of its terribleness on YouTube.
Mother, you're alive. Too bad you will die.
What the f-